Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is Kay back at it with a new video. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I'm still on the sidelines with the reverse mortgage. Let's get started. As we get older and we have most of our equity tied up into our houses, wouldn't it be nice to be able to, take advantage of that equity? Now, you have a couple of ways that you can kind of do it. You could do like a line of credit, and that would work. However, you have to pay that back. And if you are retired, you may not have money left over to be trying to pay off a long-term loan. Or you could do a refi and get some cash out. Again, if you're on fixed income, that might not work for you because of your fixed income. And I've seen a lot of seniors lose their places refinancing and cashing out or doing a line of credit. So let's just knock that off the table. It won't work. Here comes the reverse mortgage. Now, in theory, the reverse mortgage actually sounds good. It sounds like it can work, right? You don't have to pay anything back if you don't want to. And the only time the bank will collect on their money is when you pass or when your spouse passes. Sounds like a good deal, right? Well, technically, yes and no. And let's start with the no first. Well, first of all, it's the fees. They charge a lot of fees, so that can kind of bite you because now you're paying out a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, it can cost you anywhere from $12,000 to $13,000 of your loan money just to do the loan. Now that's a lot of money, right? $12,000 to $13,000 just to do a loan? I don't think so. And then the next thing is the interest. They do mainly adjustable rates, which means that it can start out at 6 to 7%, and it can possibly go all the way up to 12%, which will really cost you, if you ever try to, buy back that loan and say, I decided to keep my property. And we'll get into that in a second. So what are some of the fees that they want to charge you to do a reverse mortgage? One, you got the origination fee, you got mortgage insurance, you got the closing costs, counseling fees, appraisal fees, and then you got some ongoing fees like, annual, like your mortgage insurance premium and your loan servicing fee, which they'll probably charge you monthly on. Now, some of the conditions is, the house have to be paid off fully or you have to have enough equity to make it work. Now, let's say, for the sake of saying it, that you got a house that's 100% paid off. Let's say 100%. And you have a mortgage. So let's say your house is 100% paid off. It's valued at about $180,000. Okay, so in the real world, you would think that if you got a house that's valued at $180,000, you should be able to get at least $160,000, right? If I'm retired and I don't really have anybody to leave my house to, wouldn't that be great to pull that equity out and live your life? Because now you don't have to worry about what happens to the house. Naturally, you're going to keep it in good condition, but you don't have to worry about the house because the house will be sold when you leave here, right? And if the house is valued at $180,000 and the bank gave you $160,000, you're good. Now you can travel, you can do whatever you want to do, and stay in your house. That's in the perfect world. However, that's not the way the reverse mortgage works. They only give you a third of your money. So let's say my house is worth $180,000. Okay, so then what they do is they'll only give me almost like a third of it. So it's about $60,000 they'll probably give me. Now, $60,000 minus off that $12,000 that I started out with. So you got $60,000 minus $12,000. So that's gonna leave you with what $48,000 if my math is right. So let's say two, that's 50, and then another 10, that's 60. So yeah, so you're only getting about $48,000 out of the 60, and then you still paying fees ongoing with the mortgage insurance and the servicing fees, right? So, you're getting $48,000. Your house is valued at $180,000. So now your money is tied up with your house because you got this loan out here. Now, they did say you can pay money towards the interest and a little for premium for the principal. So this way, if you ever change your mind, you can always just, be ahead of the game because you was paying that debt back. They say, well, it's good for seniors, especially if they're in trouble. Yeah, but again, if I'm only getting 60,000 and I'm giving you 12, I only got $48,000, and they don't give it all to you up front. They only gonna give you half of it, and then they give you the other half the second year. So you really don't even have all your money then. They're gonna give you $24,000 the first year, and then they give you $24,000 the second year. Or you can spread it over however longer period of time you want. So these are some of the reasons why, I'm still on the sideline with this because it just don't seem like a good deal. Like I say now, if you maybe took some of those fees away and you gave me more money, sure, that would work. But to give you $12,000 of my $60,000 and I'm still paying fees annually, how much is that? Then they say, well, you can get most of your money the older you are, right? Meaning, the loan won't be out there long if you 70 or 75. We kind of betting that you only probably got about good 2-3 years, 5 if you're lucky, and then we collect on our investment. The younger you are, because it's from 62 on up, so 62, you really don't get anything because they betting that you're going to at least live to 70. So these are the reasons why I'm still on the sideline with the reverse mortgage. I don't think that it's a really good deal for someone just trying to, have a little of their equity that they can live off. They're not really giving you a whole lot of money. They're stacked with a lot of fees, and it's just not a good fit unless you're really in trouble and you really need the money. Then then maybe. But that's my take on it. The reason why I'm still on the sidelines with the reverse mortgage, FHA provides it. They have things in place to kind of protect you, but still, it's those fees that keep me on the sideline. Plus, they only giving me a third of my equity. What could you do with a third of your equity? It would be nice if they gave you 80% of your equity and then leave 20 up there, for the bank. But they're not doing that. They want to make sure they get all their money. So therefore, they're going to only give you a third of what your equity is, because then they know that the other 2/3, they got more than enough money if you ever got in trouble, that they can collect on their investment. That's all I have for you. Again, this is Kay back at it with a new video. Take care, guys.